then a hlolile letsatsi la kajeno. Manna ba Europa babedi couldn't make it, but monna ma Africa o entse. Ka kwana hem temotle a so qete ke a khutla.
As you look at Portuguese coach Miguel Cardoso, he has come once again so close to winning a Total Energies CAF Champions League trophy last year in the final with Esperance, and not coming away with the trophy this year in the final with Mamelodi Sundowns, not coming away with the trophy. You can see the disappointment, but the story today is the story of Pyramids FC, the champions in 2024-2025, the small upstart club out of Egypt, now the fourth different club from Egypt to win a CAF Champions League. No nation on the African continent has 4 different winners, and Pyramids are that team. For Mamelodi Sundowns, the season in Africa ends domestically with disappointment. Still plenty more football for Sundowns to play in the month ahead, though, as they move over to the USA to continue to fly the flag for African football there. But those sad faces, Vila, I mean, what do you even say to the players? How do you express the feeling that's happening right there?
I think as a leader, of course, you have to stand up, you know. You have to face them and lift them up and tell them, look, as much as we have fought throughout the tournament, we have given everything that we had. We fought. You can only take so much reflection out of it, so many reflection in terms of what can we do better in terms of going forward. Dust ourselves. But then, of course, it's an emotion, it's a feeling that you take. Of course, you would have wanted to turn it to the other way, but as a leader, you stand in front of them and say, we'll continue to try this thing because of it was too close, but yet again, it's able to be away from us. But you keep on trying. You see Tebogo also, I think, one newsletter where he said he wanted to do it for the team. And the moment, of course, it's not this one, you know, but then you have to keep trying. But then you have to congratulate Pyramids. They've been outstanding, to be honest with you. They've been dreamers, and it shows if you continue to dream, eventually the story happens.
They did it the hard way as well, playing a midweek game, feeling like the world was against them when it comes to the Egyptian Football Association and the Egyptian League not giving them the support that they thought they deserved. But despite all of that, they come through in the final, 2-1. What a final, Coach.
Thomas, I think you've got to give them credit. You know, it's a project that started off 6-7 years ago. They came in, the wrong attitude. They spent a lot of money buying big players, and then they changed the process, you know. They went and built a quality team. They brought in a good coach, and they eventually win the biggest cup on the continent, you know. So it's a huge achievement for Pyramids in such a short space of time, you know.
As we look at some of those star players with Adel coming in that second half. You looked at Al Shanawi and how big his performance was. The save with Matthews one-on-one, possibly a turning point in this game.
Game-changing moment. I think big players have to be called in big situations. I think he stood on his feet for as long as possible, made himself big, forced Matthews to make the decision, and he makes a great save. I think a player like Adele having to understand the coach's tactics today, to say for us to be able to manage the side of Mudau, you have to sit out and watch from the bench, because I've got a different tactic today which does not include all-out attack. But that man again, Mayele, he loves to play against South African teams.
Got the cool shades on.
Thomas, I think he dispatched Orlando Pirates. He comes now. The goal that he scores in the first half, Thomas, that finish was not easy at all. But a player of his quality makes it look so easy. Chibi is a right back, Thomas, but I call him the playmaker in this Pyramids team. He's a very important player for them in terms of creating opportunities and also giving assists, important in set pieces also.
Piston Mayele, the man out of the DRC, 19 caps for the DRC with the shades on, celebrating. And you know why? Because his future's so bright, he's got to wear shades. And there he is, ecstatic, management being thrown in the air. And why wouldn't they? I mean, when you start the Champions League and you look at what Pyramids are and the pedigree that they don't have, you don't see Pyramids lifting the trophy, given who else was in. Even when you get to the group stage, you're still thinking they're a good side, but they can't go all the way. They just did.
I think that's the power of having a group work. A team that's formally is so close, is so tight. Everyone is willing to fight for one another. Besides having to recognize certain individuals, Fiston, of course, busy with himself, he's with nice shades. He looks incredible. I think he's been a man on form. I think throughout the tournament, he's been scoring throughout these knockout stages, and he continues with that form. But before singling out those guys, you speak of the team effort, because of they stand together. And once a team stands together, then you're able to have players coming.
How is he feeling? When you talk about Matthews and that opportunity that he had, 46th, 27th minute of the game, one-on-one, Ribeiro's put him in. And that would have been a situation where we go 1-1.
Absolutely. I think extremely disappointed. You'd want to reflect on it and say, of course, blame yourself for that situation, which you have to take it and say, maybe next time I'll do better. But of course, I mean, having to get in there, right execution, it's just a matter of now the technique letting him down. But he should be very disappointed because of that moment changes everything.
Is it a game changer?
It is, because of now, you speak about it, now it didn't reach the back of the net. But at the same time, had it reached the back of the net, it changes everything.
I think for me, Thomas, it's where his confidence is. In the first leg of the final, you get taken off in the first 45. You get given an opportunity to start again in the second leg. Where was his confidence, Matthews? Was it done in that first leg? Or was he confident enough to get that opportunity? Did the technical team ever sit down with him, explain the tactics and his role in the game? So that is the big question to say, to start him again when you have taken me off in the first 45. Where was the confidence?
I look at his body language when he makes the attempt. He's shocked that Shinawi has saved that. He is absolutely sure he's placed that exactly where he wants to. And Shinawi has just happened to stay strong, stay big, and put out that foot.
Yeah, Thomas, that's the experience Shinawi brings, I mean, he's number 2 to the legendary El Shinawi at El Ali. But this man, Thomas Juricic, I think we got to give him the credit, He had a set game plan. He sticks with his playing style. He's got a clear identity. He doesn't compromise. And what I like about him, he has played a stable lineup in most of the games, I think that's what made the difference between Cardoso and Juricic. Cardoso, I felt, tinkered a bit. You don't get that idea that he knows who's his best lineup, And in tight games like this, I felt that you need a bit of individual brilliance, creativity. And I felt a player like Themba Zwane could have made the change.
There's a sponsor involved here.
You look at the
Doesn't matter, even if it's at night, the sponsors, I'll wear it, don't worry.
It looks like one of these characters in the Marvel movies.
Yeah. But he has been critical to the journey. 9 goals, Fiston Mayele on the way. Could have even been more had he finished the opportunity towards the dying stages of the match. Could have been 10 goals out of the 24 that they scored on the road to the final.
When you talk about a complete striker, deadly in the air, can hold up the ball very strong, good balance on him, can make runs on the shoulder of the last defender and be able to finish. He can finish from outside the box, reacts the quickest whenever an opportunity is there. Fiston Mayele, for me, very important. I think a true number 9, scores 9 goals in the Champions League, scores 17 in all competition. An excellent season for him.
Speaking of number 9s, seeing Lebo Mutiba being thrown in the dying moments of the game, it made a difference, though. I mean, it gave edge of the seat last 15 minutes.
And you needed a bit of a sense of a goal, a sense of agency, which it started to happen. Instead of being aggressive inside the box, instead of having those duels, making the likes of Sebi and Remy a bit uncomfortable because of it was a back four that hasn't been tested within the duels. But then you had Peter and then Lebo coming in, then they started to panic a bit. And you could get a sense that the probing is starting to come in now because of you're tweaking things a bit. You're no longer coming with the combinations, but then now you're going on the side, trying to put in the crosses.
Throw it in.
Throw in everything that you have, trying to look for that hustle goal, which could have happened because you could see they couldn't hold on to the pressure. But had they gotten the opportunity to come in much earlier, maybe we could be talking a different story.
For Coach Juricic, this man has football pedigree in him. The Croatian has played in a FIFA World Cup. He's got to the semi-finals of a World Cup back in 1998, losing to France in that semi-final. France go on to win that World Cup. So that man knows football. And here he is now leading a team to winning the CAF Champions League.
Yeah, Thomas, you've mentioned his playing credentials. And I think after tonight, he has stamped his coaching credentials. I mean, to win the biggest prize in African football. And he's done it in such a convincing manner, you know. We've always labeled them as the dark horses. Just recently, they were playing in the Confed Cup. They've come into the Champions League. And now they joined the giants of African football. You know, he's etched his name in history.
I think also, Sudeshne, just to add on top of what you're saying, I've always liked his comments prior to post interviews,
Positive.
where he says it's positive. I remember at one stage when they play Parade, he says, we're going to play attacking football.
Yes.
And it's been about that. And sometimes that DNA having to say, if then we're going to lose the match, let's lose the match having put in our principles of playing attacking football. Because of they've played that, he's about that, and he backs it up.
Absolutely.
I think one thing that I love about him is the energy on the sidelines. I watched him closely at Loftus. The way that he kept believing when I was thinking, what is this guy jumping up and down for? But he kept jumping up and down, he kept jumping up and down, making the subs. He nearly came to the corner flag to fetch one of Sobi when he was making a change at Loftus. And that's the type of energy that he has brought to this team, continuously putting pressure on the refereeing team. I think that's a strategy. It's not just him doing that, asking for VAR, for the referees to go look at VAR and all of that. This energy on the side of the pitch has been amazing, and it rubs off his players.
Let's talk about finals, because when we talk about CAF Champions League finals, 25 of the previous 26 CAF Champions League finals, the second leg has seen goals. We got 3 of them today.
Yeah, Thomas, those stats are always interesting. And we've seen it today. Always exciting football, open, expansive football. And this is where Jurcic really stamped his ground, you know, and Pyramids have done it. You look at the goals, they've scored, what, 22, 23 goals.
There we go. And you saw the medals coming out, which means it's time for the presentation. It's time for that brand new trophy to be handed to Pyramids FC. This is the moment Africa have been waiting for. Let's get back to our commentary team to take us through it.
Kibahe mutemutle batokena he batsamaisi ba baholo ba mokgatlo wa CAF le bolo naheng ya Morocco ke bona security le ona very tight le tuna la dipapadi la naha ya Egepeta ke mono teng hona mo ba ba leng teng mo ka o jetsa bitso la na ke mang ke na le lona mona Minister of Sport wa naha ya Egypt ka o jetsa na ke mang ke bone ile na participant tsebi bone General Secretary ya CAF le na o teng ke mone re bone Minister of Sport ya Egepeta ke na le bitso la hae mo ke mo teng mona ba ne ke taba tse ding ka ena mo Minister of Sport. Trophy kencha mutemutle ya una Champions League twal ka tseba Nankukano Kirbon he Ashraf Sobi kiena he tuna la dipapadi la naha ya Egepeta mona ya khedinga no 1968 na le motsi 57 wichirka kudia na April General Secretary ya CAF United mutemutle ka kwano ka ulela na ke mang ke ba boni ba ting kaofela ba tsamaya president le na Nankukano mutemutle General Secretary ya CAF teng Veron Mosengo Omba uting tatsila ka jeno he monino president uting Patrice Motsepe le na uting Vice President Fauzi Lekeja, First President Orkaku Pierre Alain Dibala Faisal Sida Mungangui Bestin mutemutle na tatsila ka jeno le na Venon Mosengo Omba bating he high delegation ya una kabona hailing iona CAF bating tsatsing la ka jeno ena le potso mona mutemutle ona ibe le baka la khwadoso sa baba isimshishigile fe banga tseba karabu ke tla utlwa monate hore ke utlwisisa na hobaneng he moshisa sa bapala le papading ya maoba sa bapala kapa ke ntlong metsotsong ya go qetela e ipotsa ona hobaneng trophy ne ke o balla tsa yona ke ina mothemotle that silver is meant for the losers and for competition sport, respect and humility, and also excellence in African football. Football is the most watched sport on the African continent. 1.2 billion people are in Africa. Almost 400 million. Babuel limila Kiswahili. Ibihe malima mang atalatela. Buang hona kutiting in Africa. English ni French kia mga malima buang ska bona bantse ba re fota bua se go tjena mthemotse kia mga malima buang ba kinga snapel president ha mona tijwa ya kheti ya ka Cameroon ke no mona he tsotsao Minister of Sport of Africa Borwa, very passionate about women's sport. Mamelodi Sundowns losing finalists for the second time, like they did in 2001. Sundowns losing finalists Mtemotle Williams. You hear Mtemotle Fela Joalhe, Pamufa Metala was silver, not used to silver. Mamelodi Sundowns always getting gold. Rainers Mudau, Winsetsa Mudau. Ribeiro. Tambazwane. Fidashadule 18 goals. Khutile Zwane kamratswa kotsi etelele ya ACL. Ina Tambazwane Adams Stellenbosch finest. Tiohe Kagiso Pamisaletso Tapelo Mrena Shimano Kamanka Mutsingwa 2 and 3. Divan Lunga Kurara's finest Fana Kamanka Kuruman Smohe Tebo Mkwena Bethlehem's finest Lena Mtemote Butlukong Drankekana Lebo Mutiba Kio Heutile Ketelong Mamelodi Sundowns. Il a autor partis municipal Murhaiban Male France Nini. Axina Nebaluita. Kamrao Kiale Mutiba ta Sundowns. Kimpaki Chofe. Kimpaki Chofe like a quick. Manuel Cardoso Azevedo. Another silver medal. Another silver medal. Nino Cardoso, Camera of Money, silver medal. The Thopasa Esperance last season. Football, I know therefore. Football, Ibile. Football will humble you. He Batahe, Batunkan Totabona. Rapadi Thopasa Yurakamone, Iling Iona Pyramids. Ahmed Nasser Mahmoud Muwad El Shanawi Mohamed Marey Abdel Fadil Sharaf Al-Din Ahmed Sad Arbon Ahmed Sami man of the match at Lakajenu Festin Kalala Mayele Ramadan Sobi Ramadan Ahmed Mohamed Mustafa Ahmed Abdel Munim, Mohamed Shokri Chibi, Khalid El Kadri, Mohamed Sharaf El Din, Mohamed El Savi, Al Kharib Masat, Mustafa Mohamed Fatih Abdel Hamid Mohamed, Ahmed Tawfiq Mohamed Hassan, Sharif Ekrami Ahmed, Yusuf Morsi Fayed, Karim Hayez Ramadan Sefaldin, Ibrahim Adel Ali Mohammed, Marwan Abdel Hamid, Abdel Haman Mohammed. Demkweti swabona he usakamani ka Croatia Munino Helingana Muhadi Kronoslav Juric. Now here Bankan Totabona Lopadizaso Pasa Pyramids. First attempt, first win, Kayona Pyramids, that's the Jerry Mutemute, and become African champions. For the very first time, Bahapa tournament in Mutemute, Bilibakena Hatapilu Mahaula Khan. Yeah. Paperi Flaha Yanaha Ya Congo, Yanamunino, DRC Congo for that matter. Yana Festin Mayele, Jolka Ibona, Flahayu Incha, Yanahaya DRC. Flaha Pili Nelly Green and Red, Ya Zaire, the former name Yanahaya DRC in the Bagasim Zangorki, the Great Lakes region. Mufmanang Congo Tepe, the Congo Brazzaville, Congo Kinshasa, Abu Mayele. Move manang Uganda, move manang South Sudan, move manang Burundi, move manang Rwanda, Katlasnya na fumana Kenya ka pika libuka Bochabela, Malawi Katlasnya na hanyani. The Great Lakes region, muna libo Lake Tanganyika yani akhale, sibitoka ke Lake Malawi matatsinga na he. Auta mafera jwalu bofika uya bipapita ka South Sudan, Juba. We are Kamanka, Eritrea, Somaliland, the Horn of Africa. Ketika kau Mutemute, siapa wilili setelah semua bola maudu sebila hanke, performance bola maudu kalimi lasa sotu, nanti kau tuaka arkopannya mali limi lasa kuashe, kasar tidak hulu manisu, berapa kau lihat apa wani. Mukiti kwa bolo, mukiti wa solidaba. Muilinga hata habutukutenga Southampton ibata utuntswarele itwalo musebetsi utatila holo. Hako sebile hantle nchapela matso mukilinga ukhika wa hatka ka khiniate ka Southampton na atlete utuntswarele ikhutswa ile maotomane. Africa bolo ra kwala tatseka Jerry Mutemute ka final ya Champions League ka kwano ka 30th June Stadium Karamotse wa Cairo. Nole menatka kwa Mutemute Jolka Mhadi Patrice Mutsipe Atlofana ka Mhope Ubitamani Mhadi Gaten Mackenzie Ituana Papalia Khepeta Kiwa heka ofela bona bata ubitapeli baba mba khitwing li batamisi baba hure ba stopa Kiwa bona kamra kamani kiboni mu batamisi ba kampani khula oluhla kamani ka Emirates kimoni ele barbonsa na pijana barfali libitola high conference putin tutaka mona tonsare le mola ping Topa sa Pyramids tatsaka Jerry Mutemute nafona mhope omucha cha wana kamona KF Champions League mhope omucha cha wa Champions League fumana kiona Topa sauna Pyramids tatsila pili Mutemute hauno hlamo pona kamani ka Johannesburg wila twati Pyramids Kiwanamo mpuri Mutemute bata fumana mhope na khetola pili Jolka uhlaitswa tournament ya KF Champions League 2025 Pyramids Pamisa flaha yana ya khapeta Pamisa flaha ya kapane khuru ya kamanka Emirates Pamisa butle babududi babatuba the new Cairo moto pasena silinte Mutemute Pyramids rabalebu isa Mutemute kaba mpuri babacha baona KF Champions League the kings of African football at club level utla khapeta hape Skalabala Mutemute Klopa sesing hape sa khapeta sa tournament na Jolka Al Masri Jolka Rakabani Zamalek Jolka na Al Ahli baswa video tournament na Zamalek Al Ahli team de gona patso rekoto ya wa tournament na Impa Pyramid ikene tentabona Mutemute kamra uto mameng abubedi leaking ya khapeta kamra Al Ahli Impa kaona mutsotso tlotlayo hle lebo halibo hle kita munenwa Jurisic, the top side, sa Pyramids. Well done and congratulations. We want to come on a Pyramids at the $4 million. Kas kapugutu. Suka nai baraga dirantana gibkai. Kamera mana Mutemute nalwana kopane papadinta World Cup ta FIFA ta di topa FIFA World Club Championships. Har kopane Mutemute kamanika USA. Towa manati tama le Regin Kovu, tama le Arnold Rankoko, Tsepa Maimani, Veli Kumalo, le Gatsepa, le ZZ Kabatinga, Muniti, Impact one of the Taginal Bona, Papa in Temuke, Putama Manat Kakwano, Tagibu Palemlu, now Wataka Pahaki, Axim Sekati, Impasek Bansura Silvina Kaman Pumla Mia, Gatsepa Tabatin Kaufela, Tropase Company, Kakwano Temute. Pyramids, Kibampuri, Continent Africa, Shapa Pyramids, Shapa! Katinga Kwan, Hybe Brock.
Oh, what scenes these are coming out of the 30th of June Stadium in Cairo. First of all, great crowd coming out, both legs of the final. Sensational football played in both legs of that final. And it is Pyramids that do the business by 3-2 in a tremendous 2 legs of Total Energies CAF Champions League final. You couldn't really want more than what we saw over these 2 legs.
Definitely, Thomas. It's got to be one of the better finals in recent years, you know. And here today, you got to give the Egyptian government, the Egyptian people the credit. They came out in numbers. We thought Pyramids are a new club without supporters, but today they turned up. There were even fans of supporters of Al Ali in the crowd. So it's a huge milestone for this young club, you know. They did things the right way. They worked their process, recruited the right kind of players. A good coach, definitely. I think you got to look at this triumph. Juricic played a huge role in this. His tactics were spot on throughout the tournament. You can see even today, I mean, Ahmed Aitef played over Fatih, you know. So he believed in his players. He had a stable lineup. He believed in his style of play. And it brought him the biggest honor in African football.
To win, there must also be someone who's not on that winning side. And those are the faces of a Mamelodi Sundowns team that did everything but actually be able to lift the trophy in the final, seeing off Al Ali in that semi-final, then leading for all of 90 minutes, you know, in that first leg of the final only for El Karti, and we saw him celebrating there to score in the dying moments. And then again, in the second leg, they pushed all the way. That last 15 minutes, exhilarating stuff for Mudzo.
I think when you look at this Pyramids team, Thomas, I have to say congratulations to Pyramids. But I look at them and I see a team that has scored 24 goals. They were the highest scorers in the group stages.
In 12 games.
They were the highest scorers in the knockout stages. They score goals, and I have to say congratulations to them. They are a type of team that says, we'll score 5, you can score 4. We'll score 6, you'll score 5. That's the type of attitude that the coach has. He says, I play attacking football. And I think deserved winners for me because of the number of goals that they have scored, Thomas. If you compare their scoring to a Mamelodi Sundowns, Sundowns have scored, 9 goals in this CAF Champions League? You are comparing 24 to 9. They have really scored goals in this tournament, and I think deserved winners tonight.
That is a remarkable stat, and one that shows reward for a side, Villa, that was just out here every single time they went out onto the field to try and find the back of the net, to try and beat opposition, home and away, which is so un-Egyptian style football. Maybe Pyramids are that side that start to change the thinking of what North African football is all about. And if that's the case, we love it.
Now, the scheming and the approach from them has been a marvel. I say a marvel because of they're able to do the job away from home, and equally they're able to do the job at home. So it speaks about them being arrogant of saying we are going for it. And you see these images, they are so beautiful. So Pyramids now is gold. Everything that you see there, it's so gold and it's so beautiful. So this happens when you understand, you follow your process. And not only that process, but putting in the energy, putting in that heartfelt greed, that heartfelt energy. And this is able to put them on the podium.
Who are your heroes? Who are those players for Pyramids that were absolutely critical to the cause?
Thomas, it would be so difficult to single out an unfair one because the whole campaign, you look at them, they were solid. I mean, you look at from the back, El Shanawi, you look at the central defenders, Sami, you look at the two offensive fullbacks, Hamdi and Chibi. In front of Chibi today, we looked at the youngster, Ahmed Aitef. He stepped into big shoes of Fatih when Fatih was injured. exceptional. You look at Sobi. Sobi came on today. He started the game. He hadn't been a regular. And then up front, you look at Mayele. You know, he was absolute. So it's so difficult to single out just one player.
Adele.
And I think this goes back to the coach, you know. He's stuck with his game plan. He has a clear identity. He knows his players well. He knows what's their strengths. And he plays according to their strengths, you know.
Let's take a look at the goals. If you're just joining us, this is what happened in the CAF Champions League. This is how the second leg of the final went. 2-1 victory for Pyramids in that final. And the first of those goals starts here down the right-hand side where we...
Thomas, he uses the lace technique, uses a little bit of the outside of the foot. And the way that he finishes that ball, the curl, Thomas.
I want to stay with you because you're a big number 9. And Fiston, big number 9. It's almost in the DNA that I must be in the box, right? I might have been the one working hard outside the box, but he still makes his way into the box almost on automatic as a number 9.
It's a coaching moment for any young striker. If you're a striker or you're a number 9, you need to be in the box because the winger has to cross for who if you're not in the box. As soon as he holds up that ball, plays a tap, he goes on that run, bucket run, he goes inside. The cross comes in. Kekani maybe is a little bit relaxed because there is no reference that is putting pressure on him. That's what gives him the confidence to say, control a boy, and then we build. Or try and find Mukwena, and we go. He tries to be fancy. That ball falls perfectly for Mayela. He puts it in the back of the net. He's goal number 9 in the Champions League, Thomas. 17 in all competitions.
Thomas, you mentioned about being in the box. You look at this Pyramids team. They've scored 24 goals. 22 of those 24 were scored from in the box.
Wow.
So that shows you their prowess and their efficiency in the box, you know.
That also shows that the service is good, Vila. That's the kind of service that any striker wants, that I can stay in the box and I'm still going to get goals.
I think for me also having to travel with the movement, because of there's 2 moments the way, of course, the distances with Sundowns were too much open. The distances killed themselves because they are scattered. And those distances were shorter, then it could at least prevent that action. But him very smart enough to able to travel with the movement and continue to control his movement, get into the box, and then just slice it because of, I've always said to him, he always likes to use the outside of his foot, which he trusted. And sometimes that's an instinct of a striker, having to use that lace and then drive it across and then it hits the side of the net.
So as you thought that maybe, if you know North African football sides before, they would manage this game. They're 1 up in this encounter. They're 2-1 up over the 2 legs. Now they start to manage. They didn't. And in continuing to look for something, Sundowns now make the changes.
Second, but let's look at the delivery. The delivery comes from Chibi.
No offside.
They've drawn the lines for us. This comes from Kev. And it's Chibi's delightful in-swinger. And this team has been deadly through set pieces, Thomas. Not the biggest of boys, but they attack the ball. They are good in terms of positioning in the box. He gets the goal, Semi. Again, it's Chibi. That's why I call him a playmaker from right-back position. He's the set-piece specialist. I think it's assist number 12 in all competitions for him. He finds Semi in that instance a well-taken goal.
Why? Why have they scored from a set piece?
Why they scored from a set piece, I think for me, is the tactical organization of Sundowns. It's not accordingly. They are not organizing accordingly. You can't have Adams having to come inside and then allowing the defender to be in between you. So already that on its own is poor organization. Also, you could have had either a Mudau in front of him and then leave Adams at the end. Because of then you have the 2 strongest headers inside. Then you're able to have a duel with Semi inside also. So the organization for me tactically was very poor.
He doesn't get it at his highest point as well. I mean, he's literally crouching down for that.
Thomas, you got to go with what Villa says. You know, you look at the first leg. You look at it when they played Pirates in the semi-final. You know what's the strength of Pyramids.
Is this just an unbelievable delivery? I mean, by the time he headers the ball, he's almost on the 6-yard box, which then starts to make you think, is Ronwin maybe needing to be involved here?
Too far, because of, remember, it's now pulling you towards, it's an outswinger, not an in-swinger that you can easily come in and get it. It's an outswinger.
So the delivery is just in that
so
area where
so good.
It's difficult to...
Let's not take away the delivery. It's so good. It just needed the organization of the defenders. They're saying, we can't have our strongest headers outside. Adams should have been the one outside, and then you put Mudau in front of Lebusa, and then you have 2 of them inside.
Let's talk Cardoso now, because at this stage, yes, it might be 2-0, but Sundowns know the 2 goals wins them the CAF Champions League, and they go looking for those 2 goals.
I think let's give credit to the Mamelodi Sundowns coach. As much as everyone was panicking, He was here. He was like, focus, calm down. Let's just rearrange the structure a little bit. And look at the number of yellow shirts in the opposition to get those goals, Thomas. And he gets it, and it's goal. It's 31 goal contributions for Rangers, and you end up on the losing side. He ran his socks off tonight.
You're seeing the celebrations, one off the bench at the stadium. Jack Buda as well in Mamelodi. They are all off their chairs because Sundowns only need one more goal now. One more goal, and they win it. That would be 2 away goals for Sundowns.
I think then you start to even ask yourself then what could have been if then they started to react this way. Because if now they are more reacting to the situation, they're starting to put more pressure inside the box. Now they're starting to put more players in the box because of also they couldn't have so many players in the box. Then you started putting people inside the box, then you're creating pressure, you're creating moments whereby now you're giving yourself a chance. So they're always second to everything.
Now looking at this moment here, and we see Al-Shanawi making the save.
This is what you wanted to see throughout the game, which is sometimes that's how you play a perfect game. You have to be really consistent of trying to probe and probe and probe, which is now it comes later, and then now it means time is running off.
Take a look again at the silkiness of the play, the save, and you don't know. And you have to just praise Mamelodi Sundowns there for asking questions right up until the dying moments.
When you're in a game and there's a player in a different mode, I felt that in certain periods of the game, I thought Ribeiro turned on the magic. If you're Mamelodi Sundowns, when you find an opportunity to find him in the pocket, find him in between the lines, feed him the ball. Because whenever he was on the ball, Mamelodi Sundowns looked dangerous. They looked like scoring. Look at how they try to foul him here. He continues to drive forward. They try to...
Here was 10 minutes. That's all I thought. It was like, wow, there's 10 more minutes in this final. There's 10 more minutes of opportunity for Mamelodi Sundowns to get what would have been a killer blow.
Thomas, yeah, that's why I think Manenze mentioned a very important point, Ribeiro, towards the end of the game, you know. And that's where you would have expected Themba Zwane to come on, to combine with him, because the best way we know to unlock tight defense like this is by individual brilliance, creativity. You would wonder, you bring on a Motiba who's never played, he's making his debut here. Psychologically, how does it? Yes, you're going to throw long balls and hope for something.
And it did.
But you are playing
the hope
against...
for something did work.
Yeah, but you're playing against a team who's also very strong aerially. So the best way to unlock that defense is to bring in creativity and skill. And Themba Zwane combining with Ribeiro, they showed it when they beat El Ali.
You're talking about a Themba Zwane who didn't play in either leg of the final, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise, you know.
You are surprised by that?
Because I think a play like this, when you look at the North African teams, we know they play with a very compact defensive structure. And the best way to unlock that is by skill, creativity, quick short interpassing, you know. We've seen it how Pirates have done it. Sundowns, when they beat El Ali, they brought in Shalulile, Reyners, and Themba Zwane.
Cardoso will tell you he did unlock pyramids twice. So without even a Themba, the unlocking ability of Mamelodi Sundowns was there. You guys can jump in at any stage.
It wasn't enough, was it? To win the game.
It wasn't.
It wasn't, exactly. So we can't say that, yes, we did it that way. You were not successful eventually. So you can't understand a player of the caliber. You know, just his presence on the field lifts up the other players. We've seen it when they played Al Ali, you know. So I just don't understand that part of it. In 2 games in the final, you leave out your most experienced, possibly your most creative player.
And that is a big talking point, especially for South African fans. And we'd love to have your contribution on that one on #SSFootball. Tell us about that. Do you think what Sudesh is talking about there in terms of the non-inclusion of a Themba Zwane in the 2 legs would have changed the outcome of this encounter? However, speaking of changing outcomes, Fiston Mayela,
Go with your left.
he's shown us he doesn't have. I think we saw that at Loftus. He doesn't have.
I think more than anything, Thomas, I think it's more instincts more than he doesn't have. I think now...
He lefty. If it's natural and it's there.
Trust me, Bournemouth, at times, don't you go with your instincts sometimes? There's so much...
Like he just swings with his left across the goalkeeper. There he swings with his left. No, Thomas. But the one thing that you need to give him credit for, he stays on side. He's sniffing. He's anticipating when the ball is going to drop. He's the quickest to react. Maybe in that instance, too quick to react. He could have held it a little bit, then gone with the left foot. But that's the quality of striker that wins you Champions League. He's the type of striker that is in the box. He scores that one, he gets to double figures in CAF competitions alone. That he is already on 9. He scores that one, is 10. 17 goals in all competitions.
But
it's a sniper.
That moment again shows you that they don't defend. They're still trying to win this game, our Pyramids. When at that stage, it's backs to the walls, guys. Sundowns are coming. You could easily see a situation where it's fist and listen, let's just get back here and defend. He's finding himself in the other side of the field, dying moments when they are leading.
Yeah. But also they've put themselves in that situation, Thomas, that I said, when we started, they had one hand on the trophy, which is scoring that crucial away goal. So the game's going to open up a bit. And they still remain with their process of saying, we're going to continue to attack, because if we give ourselves a better opportunity when we continue to attack, other than having to bring on pressure, then you're not giving confidence to ourselves. We're just applying pressure and pressure. And times whereby you're going to feel this pressure, you're going to be doing mistakes. Other than let the game open, we'll take our chances. We have seen it, we have shown it that we are able to score more goals because they've scored so many goals.
Let's take a look at the numbers. What do those numbers tell us about the football that we saw? Well, here it is. And it says, again, guys, midweek, I mentioned this in the build-up. Pyramids scoring 5 goals with something like 35% of the possession against Cleopatra. Today, 35% of the possession. And look at the number of shots they still get away. Look at the number that they get even on target. How are they able to do this?
I think also you see with these elements of possession, I think for me it's more of a playing of a very tactical game whereby we are able to suffer, but at the same time when we suffer, we're able to turn that defense into attack, which they are very ruthless. And you can see with the possession, they not really want to have possession. They want to have moments where they win the ball and then they break away and then they take those chances.
The kind of final you want to watch. 20 shots, 8 of them on target. Sundowns, 7 corners. They brought the pressure, did Mamelodi Sundowns, to Pyramids at home.
Any supporter or anyone watching this game, I think they were thoroughly entertained. Both teams creating 10 opportunities. Both teams getting 4 on target. Mamelodi Sundowns, as usual, they dominate the ball position. They dominate the passes in that midfield. It's Tebogo Mokoena again, it's Allende again, leaving the field of play empty. Their tanks are empty. And that's one thing that I like about Mokoena and Allende. They never leave the field with a quarter tank or with the light on. When they leave that field of play, the fuel tank is empty. And they did that even tonight.
You look at those stats, Sundowns won the game. If you don't look at the scoreline.
I still feel even with that 61%, because normally Sundowns will give you 80% where you get a sense of Shushan and Piane.
In a Champions League final against the best
That's
on the
what I'm saying. There
continent.
was a feeling that was missing with Sundowns. There was not a sense of that positive of combination play that was happening around. There was not a sense of getting it a bit, getting control.
Where was it?
I think, I don't know, it wasn't like a perfect game for them, which is you don't see normally, but you normally see with them, because as I just say, there was this feeling that was missing with them.
Yeah, Thomas, you look at that when we talk about the possession, the difference, Sundowns and Pyramids. With possession, progression must be the priority. Does it break lines? Do we eventually have shots on goal, you know? So you got to, there's possession and there's intelligent possession. How smartly do you use that possession? And I think this is where Pyramids were the superior team.
I think for me, one thing that Pyramids did well was close the half cross. Mamelodi Sundowns has got that half cross. You look at the goal that they score against Al Ahly. It's on the corner of the D line. It's that little dink into the box. That's one thing that Pyramids did well. I thought they doubled up properly. Atef and Chibi, they were doubling up so that that half cross doesn't come in. Hamdi also did the same, because they'll rotate, they'll find Mukwela or they'll find Allende, they'll dink that ball into the box. But that's one thing that Pyramids really did well. And that's a trend of how Mamelodi Sundowns has been getting goals this season.
You know what I'm really interested in now is the reaction of the Mamelodi Sundowns fans, those at the heart of loving their club. At Jack Buddha in Mamelodi, Lemmy is there with them. Lemmy Loco, what is the feeling in Pretoria right now?
Well, Thomas, all the way in Mamelodi, we were hoping that we'd catch celebrations, we'd see happy faces, but unfortunately, it didn't go that way. Sandawana, you don't look very happy.
I'm not happy at all.
What's going on?
You know, I will tell you, the coach failed the Mamelodi people.
How? The coach?
Yeah, the coach. The coach failed the Mamelodi people, failed the Sandawana people, failed the Yellow Nation. First, we are playing the first round here in Loftus. We played there. He came with another lineup whereby he didn't even put Chalulila, our striking force.
Yeah.
He put Reynas. He was supposed to put 2 strikers up front, whereby we know that Reynas is scoring. He's good in scoring. Chalulila is good in scoring.
Yeah.
Fine, we understand. He didn't put even Mushishi. Does he know who Mushishi is?
I don't think he does.
Does he know who Mushishi is? You cannot go to Brazil and put Ronaldo in the bench.
Yeah.
You cannot go to Argentina and put Messi in the bench.
But maybe there was a strategy behind it.
No, there's no strategy there. Because you know what? If ever there was a strategy, in the second half, he was supposed to put Mshishi.
Yeah.
When we are playing here at home.
Yeah.
You go to Egypt again. Put Mushishi in the starting lap.
Yeah.
He didn't play Mushishi. Understand?
Yeah.
But last time when he win against Al Ahly, he put Mushishi.
Mushishi
What
was
did
there.
he do? What did Mushishi do?
Yeah.
He even passed the ball that we score.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Mushishi. I think the coach must pack your bag.
That's a strong accusation.
The coach must pack the bag and go home. The coach must pack the bag and go home. There are enough of you. Coach, go home. You are not going to World Cup with us. And again, I'm sending this to the president.
Yeah.
The president, please, my president, look at this other guy.
Which one?
The big guy.
Yeah.
The big guy.
Yeah.
This boy. Back.
Yeah.
This guy, I think he's up to something. He's coming with the European people. He wants to play only the European people here. We have players here in South Africa who can play in Sundowns.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
So why every time he comes with the players, I'm definitely sure he comes with good players.
Yeah.
He comes with good players.
Yeah.
But the coach play the European people.
Yeah.
We've got Nkulisi.
There's quality to go
We've got
Sundowns.
Nkulisi in
And
Sundowns.
local, yeah.
We've got Nkulisi. Today he didn't play Salulila. Salulila and Zwane.
Yeah.
But I don't know what kind of a coach. When you come to the country, you hear they're talking about Maradona and whatsoever. You don't play that guy.
Yeah.
He's got a problem with Mushishi.
You think so?
I'm definitely sure. But
Sandawana,
We believe so.
come this side. Come
I
this
believe
side.
so.
So you also agree? You're saying the coach has a problem, Limshish.
In 2 games, 40 minutes. She played 20 minutes the other game.
But
20
remember,
minutes
but remember,
20
he came
minutes.
from an injury.
Hey, my brother, that guy is old. Ne?
Yeah.
If he gets injured, it's football. You put him in, you go all guns blazing. I've never seen Barcelona putting all their stars go fast because they're afraid of injury.
Yeah.
It's football. You will get injured.
Yeah.
If you can't predict injury.
Pelwa,
Why don't you put
Can
your
I just
stars
be the
in?
devil
Why don't you
advocate on
just put
this
the
one?
stars in?
Can I be the
Well,
devil's
wants to be the
advocate on
devil's
this one?
advocate. Well, no,
I
sir.
was happy with the coach, with everything that the coach did.
Yeah.
The only thing that I was frustrated with what the coach did, I don't even know his name. I even forgot his name because of it's the first time he's playing. You cannot bring Mutiba. You see, you cannot play a person that hasn't played. He hasn't played any final.
Mutiba coming under the scrutiny there. The football continues on your World of Champions. It is not the end of football on your World of Champions because all 32 of the best clubs in the world will be live. 63 games